Hey, hey, hey. I hope everybody's doing good. Carl Bryan coming at you with my boy Pat. Yo, 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 Pat. You there, buddy?
I'm here. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope you had a great weekend. You're as relaxed as I am now.
Relaxation mode. I can tell you that I am not after I went away skiing last week, as you know, but maybe the others don't. And I came home and I am the opposite of relaxed. I am like, whoa. But hey, that's the nature of it. But I had a bloody good time skiing. So there you go. There you go.
I was being a bit sarcastic anyway, so.
Yeah, I know. That's true too. Yeah, okay, gotcha. All right, okay. So we had a bit of a skeleton crew here, folks. But as you guys know, this is a Q&A call. You guys provide the Q, Pat and I provide the A. So if you got a question, raise your hand, or just chuck your question in the box, and of course we can read it out. And prior to getting a few of those, why don't we open up a couple folks and see how they're doing? What do we got here? Phil Duble. Let's go. Phil, you're self-muted, my friend. If you'd like to say hi, you got to unmute yourself. Don't be shy, Phil. Oh, what's going on here? We might be, okay, something funky going on there. You got to put your pin in saying here, Phil. What's happening? Okay, try work that out. All good. Let's go, Paul Xavier. Paul Xavier, you're self-muted. If you want to say hi, put your hand up. There he is. Paul, you're live.
Good morning, or probably afternoon for you guys.
Yeah. Whereabouts are you? Remind me.
Hawaii.
Oh, yes, of course. Oh, cool. What's happening in Hawaii? What's going on there?
Definitely not snow skiing.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah, just 10 a.m. here, probably already close to 80 degrees, just sitting outside, enjoying a cigar and listening to your webinar.
Cool. Good to hear. And before I hang you up, you got any got a question for us? If we put you on the spot, what would your question be?
Not really. Sorry about that. I mean,
No, don't be sorry.
I like to drop in and listen and hear other questions. And it seems like every time I drop in, something new seems to be covered. So it's kind of cool to just drop in and listen. But
be a fly on the wall. I got you. Don't worry about that. You remain a fly on the wall.
I enjoy it.
And what?
I said the software's pretty intuitive, so it's pretty simple to use. It's just a matter of going through it enough times. Yeah.
Yeah, love it. Okay, good stuff. Well, enjoy your cigar.
Thank you, sir.
And sit back, put your feet up. There we go. What about, okay, so Phil is back. Okay, Phil, I'm coming for you. You're self-muted. There he goes. Phil, now you're live. It worked.
Is it working?
Hey, what's happening?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah.
What's happening?
It's things are going well. As a previous caller mentioned, things keep getting better and more complete. I heard this morning that there was a new video or something to introduce the PAS to prospects. Is that true?
Oh, yeah. New elevator pitch, you mean? Like a new spiel?
Well, it was like a little video intro.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, you go to your e-learning system and go /prep, PREP, and it's going to be waiting for you right there.
Super. That'll be very helpful. I'll be sending it to a bunch of folks.
Awesome. And on the back of these calls, actually, we've also, for everybody listening and for you, Phil, we've got a new, we'll call it an elevator pitch and a little bit of a networking spiel. Just pulled out of these calls that Adrian's knocked together, and that'll be in Coach's Resource Center. So be looking for that also.
Sure will. Thanks.
Cubanas, awesome. Okay, Phil, good to have you here, buddy. Yes.
Let's follow up on that question. There was a question I got midweek, and really ties into that because there's also the promo video, which is the end of their website /promo. So I got this, it's a bit of a complex question, but maybe we can work through it and then we'll have a recording of it.
So this person's saying, I find myself a bit confused by the sequencing of events pertaining to the 2 new videos. Question, prep/prep is supposed to be for initial interest generating purposes, correct? And promo is explained as being sent just prior to the PAS interview itself. I would say that's backwards. The promo video is for interest generating purposes, and the prep video is sent just prior to the PAS.
That is correct. Yep.
Okay. So then he goes on to say, therefore, I anticipate the following timeline of events. Number 1, identify the prospect and obtain an email address. Number 2, send out an initial contact email with the prep link in it. That would probably be could be the promo link. Number 2A, this email should also have an appointment calendar in the message as well. Don't you think? Well, that sounds good. Number 3, follow up to the promo contact, a phone or email with the prep video and the appointment calendar link. So then you do the prep follow up with a phone to confirm appointment or set up a new appointment, or B, calendar app following up confirming new appointment date and time. He goes, forgive the brainstorming. So it's a bit complicated.
Yep.
So there is a sequential element to it, and it goes promo and then prep.
Yep. Yes, for sure. I just want to add in there. So that's great. That's a good step-by-step, 1 through 5 or whatever number of steps you just gave us. But I want to encourage everybody to think before, okay, so we drive traffic on Facebook, and everything that we do, or social media, or if it was direct mail or whatever it is, right? We're generating interest. The first thing that I ideally want is a phone call, right? So I would go, if somebody was interested from the promo video, I would want to, before sending them the prep, I'd want to get them on the phone or face-to-face for that matter. But that would be, no, take that back. It would be phone call, and think 15-minute phone call. You guys have heard me, if you've listened to our calls in the past, you've heard me riff on this. But again, I always want to be really busy. I definitely want to drop in, I can find anybody $100,000 in 45 minutes without them spending $1 on marketing or advertising, all those hot button and, good, those awesome marketing messages we provide you guys. So I'd be dropping that into the call, and then I'd be setting up an appointment on that call. I wouldn't be sending the link. Ideally, I would have them on the call. I would set up a 1-hour appointment, and then I would send them the link to the prep video to say, you should watch this. So the answer, that 1 through 5 step-by-step will work, and that's highly automated. And that is something that will be scalable. And what I'm describing is not scalable because it involves too much one-to-one touch. Well, it's not scalable. It's just going to be significantly more challenging. But for most of our coaches, if you don't already have your, let's say, 20 one-to-one clients, and that's where you want to get to, then I would do a lot of this work on the phone. Does that make sense? I would kind of I'd fast forward that phone call to hype them up versus letting the videos do the work for them. That makes sense?
Yeah, I think the phone call is always going to be more effective than an email.
Yep, 100%.
So, yeah.
Like 100%. So it's just, and then it's like, oh, but if they won't get on the phone, and again, that's a hard one, but if they won't get on the phone, then they probably weren't going to spend, the $2,000 a month, $24,000 a year with you, right? So then we got to go back to your positioning. So anyway, and then another dynamic that would play out is that I go to, say, a networking function as somebody is interested. Well, at that meeting, when I'm speaking to somebody, I'm using a lot of the verbiage from the promo video to get them excited. So then I would say, look, what I can do is I can find you $100,000 in 45 minutes without spending $1 on marketing or advertising. Once again, trying to nail down my, and again, I'd say 45 minutes, but then say, give me 90 minutes to make sure that I can answer all of your questions and handle everything that you need. In that networking function or the phone call afterwards, I'd be lining up the 90-minute call and then emailing over the prep video. So again, in that dynamic, I wouldn't have been using my promo video. I would have been using my own, you know, lips and tongue to basically give a lot of the information in the promo video. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. So guys, just for everybody listening, just in a nutshell, what I just said is that, you know, you want to, the more of this you can control, the better. Because I know videos and automation is all wonderful for everybody. It's obvious, but that being said, if they don't get the email, it hits their spam, or they get it, they look at it, don't get time to watch the video, and then they just kind of forget about it, which is what happens, then the process wasn't as, you know what I mean? Somebody slipped through the cracks that otherwise could have got there. So when you get somebody on the phone, you really get a chance to basically butter them up and get them excited. So I think that's an important piece. All right,
Good.
Steve?
I think let's go to Steve Cantrell, because it might have been him that first asked us.
Steve, are you there?
I am here. Convoluted questions, guilty as charged.
That okay? Did you? Oh, okay. So you were the one that fired that over to Pat?
I sent that out to him after the talking about the video last time, and there's I don't want to say a link, but there should be a link or reference to a link to a calendar or something in the video, and I was just trying to figure out how to sequence that and which sequence to put it in, that type of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
So I liked your sequence, but I hope you heard what I just said there, right? But I would try and accelerate that phone call for sure. So that's it. That help?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying, on the video that you guys put out, though, the promo and the prep, there's a reference in there to a link below.
Now, I think it's not both of them. I think it's just one of them.
Is it just one of them? Okay. I was just wondering how we're going to integrate that into our link. And
yeah.
So you just, your time trade. Yeah. So we'll just get your time trade should live below.
Right. So the question then, Carl, was, I think because we had just talked about this last week it could have been Ask the Expert call. And I'm not sure if Adrian had contacted Craig about, hey, let's get this on everyone's site, because it says, hey, click the link below to contact the time, but there's no link below. That was the issue.
Yeah, that was my question.
Oh, okay. Well, we need to get, yep. So you have a time trade account or whatever equivalent?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So just get that link over and we'll put it on your site. There we go. What's that? Oh, missed something there.
No, that was I'm going through that video, sorry, and then the volume.
Oh, okay, cool. So. Gotcha. Okay, cool, bananas. So Steve, what do you think? Does that help?
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Yep. Okay, cool. Any other questions for us?
No, I'm just getting that coordinated so we're, can send you the link to get on the video or the page or whatever.
Okay, there we go. Okay, Steve, cool bananas, buddy. We'll put you back on mute. Good to have you here.
This will be the promo video. And, you know what? I'm looking at the promo /promo, and it's got a let's schedule a time to speak and a submit button on there now. So Steve, maybe have a look at your page there, and because the page I'm looking at, it's actually Adrian's site. It's got that. Let me share my screen there so you can see it there. It's /promo. And the video's there, and now let's schedule time to speak here. So
that says prom. Is that promo or prom?
Well, that's just what the short browser bar.
No, now it. Yeah, okay, no, that's cool. Yeah, no, that's cool. I was like, what the heck? I'm like, prom. That's not promo. That's good.
If you want to go to the prom, let's schedule a time to speak. That's a digital marketer's innovation in high school.
There we go. Damn. We might be on to something there. Hang on a minute. All right. Okay, cool. Who are we going to go to? Yeah, we're going to open up Tom, although Tom doesn't have a question, but we're going to put him on the spot because that's what we like to do. Yo,
hey guys,
Tom.
how are you?
You are live. Hey. Doing great. How you doing, buddy?
Terrific. Happy New Year. By the way, that was me who pointed out the link necessity last week.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, cool.
Gotcha. Yeah. So that gets me off the spot.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Otherwise, you're going to have to ask Pat a question to try to stump him. So
No, listen,
you got to come.
great. I'm still digesting all of the learnings, and I'm getting more and more of it. But I will say one thing: the Business Coaching Secrets podcast is the absolute most informative and entertaining, but most informative that I can tell you. Every single episode, I've invested 60 hours of my life listening, and I can tell you that every single episode gives you at least one golden nugget to take away.
Oh, wow. Can I put you on the spot again? Could you give us a couple, for everybody listening, like what, and by the way, thank you very much. I appreciate that big time. Can you give us a couple of, maybe for everybody listening, Tom, guys, this is Tom Cavanaugh we're listening to. You, in the NLP world, he is a heavyweight amongst heavyweights. He's the real deal. So it's an honor to have you on board, Tom.
Thank you very much.
I'd ask you, what are a couple, if you could just give me a couple of nuggets that you've taken away, maybe it'd benefit everybody.
Well, the balance sheet, income statement, and the cash flow statement episode was phenomenal education for me, who wasn't really that well versed in the language of business, being the numbers. That was a phenomenal takeaway. That's, if anybody has to learn anything about what we do, that's the one right there.
Yep, love it.
I would
that
say
was a while ago, that one.
That was the one. Now, as far as the amount of time you spend on social media, I listened to this morning about, specific times for a specific purpose, and then get off of it so you don't get lost in it. That's another great nugget. I think that's really important. The key is, though, that for me, listening to you talk about the types of clients to look for and how easy it is to help them was the mindset change that I needed. And the fact that when we look at, and some of the books you've recommended, like the 80-20 book from Perry Marshall, phenomenal book. All the books that you read, and then of course listening to the episode with Terry Levine, being a photo reader, reading 200 books a month, I can relate to that. As a photo reading instructor, I mean, that hit home. So I could keep going on and on and on, but you asked for two or three.
No, that's good.
There you go.
No, that's good. No, I appreciate it. And that's good. And yeah, Tom reads a book. How long does it take you to read a book?
About 20 minutes.
So he doesn't, not only does he do it, but he teaches photo reading.
Yes.
So you guys should, photo reading is something that Tom can help you with, and something we should all be doing. Because again, I don't know, you pound through a book in 20 minutes. I don't think we need any more than that. Kind of wild. So very, very cool, Tom. I appreciate that, man.
Actually, I also,
one thing I said this week that actually I really think is, which is good, and it's just because we get, get the questions, right? And it's like procrastination. How do I get motivated? And just questions around that are so ridiculously consistent.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
the big why, talking about your daughter's wedding and all that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, creating that. Okay, well, actually, I'm in the middle of a fast right now. There you go. Pat will be proud of me. He does 30-day fast, and I'm doing a 4-day fast. Okay, so awesome. I'm in elementary school.
4's the hardest, though. It's all the hardest. The first 4 days are the hardest. It just gets easier.
Yeah, and then it's downhill. Yeah, here we'll see how I'm feeling on day 4, but I might go eat a ham sandwich on day 4. I'm thinking, but we shall see.
Carl, do you notice that you have a lot more clarity of focus after a fast?
Oh, it's unbelievable. Last time I did a fast, I think Pat and I were talking about it. And I honestly, the only way I could explain it is a religious experience. When I woke up on the 4th day, like the level of clarity and level of clarity was it's mind-boggling. Absolutely mind-boggling. So everybody should do it. They say you should do 3 or 4 days a month. I think that's kind of if you follow, Tim Ferriss and some of those experts, this is what they give as a bit of a guideline. Some people a little aggressive, but good stuff. So actually, sorry, Tom, and I was saying, so this week, one of the things that I said and that I think is really, really valuable for those listening and for your clients. So it's like what's the number one rule for procrastination, right? And again, when we get motivation and lack of passion and not really being in the right career or the right this, the right that, right, whatever. And the number one reason for procrastination, which again stumps most people, is loneliness. Dead set, right? And just picture a football team, right? Like, who's not actually, you know what I mean? Like, imagine being procrastinating at a football practice, right? You'd stand out like dog's balls. It would be ridiculous, right? It just wouldn't happen. And if you did, you'd probably find yourself cut. So one of the things for the coaches, let's just use lead generation, which is one that gets procrastinated on big time. Just, like loneliness and realizing. So one of the things we're working on, right, Pat, is a little bit of gamification with the system, which that's all part of it. But understanding that, I think, can bring tremendous power. So anyway, so that's the number one reason behind procrastination is loneliness. That would stump the average person. I think that's a good one. So there we go. Cool bananas, cool bananas.
Well, thanks for having me on.
You bet, Tom. We appreciate you, buddy.
Appreciate you guys.
I'm going to put you back on, put you back on mute. Who else do we got here?
I don't see anyone. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, what's going on, guys? We need some questions. Otherwise, Pat and I are going to go get to our emails with Linda Lewis. Linda, you are self-muted. You got to unmute yourself. There she is. Linda, you are live.
All right. Thank you.
What's happening?
Question about on PAS. I was going through it with a potential client, and we got to the valuation section, and there were all kinds of questions that I couldn't answer. How is that calculated? Can you give me a little bit of insight about where that number comes from?
Okay, I absolutely can. So
you're not the first one to ask, Linda. Don't feel lonely.
Big question.
Yeah. So okay, and as I think it's in here, we say this is a sales tool. So it's very approximate. The problem that we had, we consulted with a business broker before we went into this category, and went through all the questions with them and tried to work through our algorithms and all that. And they said this is about as good as you're going to get because there's so many different ways to value a business, none of which are necessarily correct. But there's some standard ways. So what we've done here is you go to the last question. First of all, the current revenue is $1 million. So what's going to happen in this last question? You're going to have, this will come up, it'll be $1 million in question 10 will come up automatically as a suggestion. So it says, what's your business been valued at? If you're not sure, use the number already in the box. So that's $1 million. So it's just 1 times revenue. Okay, so that's where that starts. Everything else is kind of based around that. Now, question number 1, over the past 3 years, has your revenue been steady or growing or declining? So let's say it's been growing by 10% a year. You would put 110. This will then increase the valuation of the business because a business is more valuable if it's been growing over the past 3 years. Same kind of question for industry. If the industry is shrinking, maybe by 10% a year, you put 90. What's going to happen is it's going to lower the valuation because you're in a declining industry. There's an element here that I'm not sure how this affects it actually. I don't remember all those formulas, but there's a number here about what your assets are worth that impacts your valuation in some measure. And then these other questions, another 6 or 7 questions in here, they're just adding or subtracting from the valuation by a percentage, a certain amount. So if you have financials prepared by an accountant, it makes you more valuable. If you don't have it, it makes you less valuable. If you have one customer that accounts for at least 15% of the overall revenue, it makes it less valuable because if that customer to leave you, you would take a major hit. Are a large extent of all your systems, process, policies, procedures in place? Yes, makes it more valuable. Marketing and sales process documented? Yes, more valuable. No, less valuable. Is your business model scalable? Yes, more valuable. Recurring revenue, yes, more valuable. So that is how we kind of built this section. Let's see
Does
what
the
we do here.
industry that we select at the bottom have, or maybe it's not on that page, but somewhere
Yeah,
back
it's
in,
on the financial.
does that affect it?
No, it has no bearing on it. That's a great question, though. And if I could get all the metrics on that and all the industries to figure out the valuation of it, it would probably be a great thing to have in there as well. Be a really good thing to have. But we might revisit that later down the road, but not right now. Again,
But
it's just
Linda,
a
do
sales-
feel comfortable. Oh, sorry, Pat. May I just? So,
Oh, yeah.
but Linda, do feel comfortable that we don't have specific industries, but we do have, like there's questions in there that kind of pull that. Like, is your industry, growing, stagnant, or in decline? That kind of thing. So there's questions within there that will, like again, a car wash is going to get a significantly greater multiple. Because just imagine how easy it is to run a car wash, right? You need one guy sitting there with a coin machine to manage it, and a big piece of real estate that could be sold in the future. So that's going to get a significantly greater multiple than, say, a restaurant, which is very, very labor intensive, right? So the questions aren't implicitly asked, but they're factored into the questions that we put so that we could draw that out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay. So all of those questions on that page are taken into account when that algorithm goes into
Yes.
play.
Yeah, the
Yes.
valuation. Yep. So but again, as Pat said, it's pretty loosey goosey. You wouldn't take that to the bank and say, okay, look, let's do this. But but do feel comfortable. It's a well and truly a good bench. It's a good framework for sure.
Okay, good.
Right. And maybe just Linda, and for you and for everybody listening, then the functionality, like why is it there? Just think of what Shark Tank's done. Like if whatever Shark Tank, let's assume it's I don't know what it is. I think it's 10 years old actually. 10 years ago, the average business owner didn't know what the hell valuation meant. They wouldn't have a clue, right? And now Shark Tank, the first thing they do, they come up there and they go, I want X for X. And then the sharks, one of the sharks pretty much always says, oh, okay, so you've got a $3 million valuation on your company, right? Like, so when you're working with a business owner, yes, we can increase cash flow and we can put some more money in their bank, but what they're not thinking about, what they should be thinking about, not all of like this isn't going to happen for all of them, but they should all be thinking along these lines, is that how are they going to go about selling this thing one day? So when they work with you and you put together those real basic systems, let's just use McDonald's, like the upsell, the downsell, the cross sell, right? The fries and the apple pies, et cetera. Well, when they go to sell McDonald's, and more to the point in McDonald's case, they go to sell the next franchise, because of the, do you want apple pie with that? Do you want fries with that? Do you want me to supersize that, et cetera, is all in place. And those are all just very basic business principles. Because they're all in place, the valuation of the company goes up dramatically. And then what they can get for the next franchise, or what the business owner could sell their business for, raises dramatically. So it's not just about making an extra $100,000 this year. It's building an asset that they could sell, but they're not thinking like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does. And I did tell her that piece of it, that if we work together and develop a market dominating position on all these other things, that would be an asset to help sell the business. Okay.
Yeah, good job. That's a goodie. Like I said, it's a little bit of a paradigm shift where I'm like, oh wow, I've never thought about that. And
yeah.
Bingo, bango, bongo. Cool.
Okay. I have
There we
another
go.
question
Okay, yeah, go. No problems.
So on, I think it's the financials section. I need your help with the math on this, because what she was able to give me, so the questions that we have on the screen, annual revenue, she knew that. And then it seemed odd to me, but she knew gross profit margin, and then she knew the number for COGS. So can you give me math equation on if they know the number for COGS, how I want to build out a spreadsheet that just has you know, if they know revenue and net profit margin, then, or let's say gross profit margin, what's the equation for then figuring out what COGS was?
So on my screen here, we are in the cut costs module. And let me also say that your question, I don't really know how to answer that except to figure out what resources we have available, because it's all confusing to me as well. But in this spreadsheet under the cut costs, we have some things here that help us just remember what are COGS, cost of goods sold, or variable costs. So we start with $1 million revenue, cost of goods sold, $500,000. So gross profit is $500,000, which means your gross profit margin is 50%. Now your overhead then, which is also your fixed costs, is $300,000. So your net profit would be your revenue minus your cost of goods sold minus your overhead gives you the net profit, $200,000. So that means your net profit margin is $200,000 over $1 million, which is 20%. So yeah, you could probably reverse engineer a spreadsheet to figure that out, but you'd have to know her overhead. So a very simple way to ask this, though, to figure this out is they say, what's your net profit margin? She goes, well, I don't know. Say at the end of the year, you make whatever, $100,000. How much money can you bank? How much can you put in your pocket? She goes, well, I put in, well, $1 million, I put in 200 grand. Okay, so your net profit margin is 20%. I mean, it's just kind of the easiest way to explain it. That's just what's left over after all the bills are paid.
Yeah,
That help?
okay.
That help?
Yeah, I was just hoping somebody could give me that reverse math equation, because it'd be good to have that in my pocket.
Well,
Reverse. Yeah, go Pat.
Well, I was going to say there's a couple of places to find that. One is Google and YouTube. You know, there's so many things I don't understand, like how do you get this? Or, you know, just every day almost I'm trying to build a spreadsheet or something, like what is the equation for that? How do you get that? So I just YouTube it, always looking at Excel formulas to try and figure something out. And the second other place is the Facebook group. We've got accountants in the Facebook group. So go in there and say, this is my challenge. Any accountants out there that can help me? And probably within 6 or 12 to 24 hours, you're going to have some answers in there.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah,
There we
okay.
go.
One of the math whizzes will know the formula for that, I'm sure.
And they'll enjoy telling you too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Linda, so let me ask you a different question. So because you weren't able to kind of reverse engineer those numbers and give them, like, did you feel like you lost a little bit of power in the meeting? Or was it fine?
It was a little messy at that point. But what I tried to emphasize, and I think we finally got to, was just saying, you know, these are estimated numbers that we're going to use here, and we're really just looking for what impact will other things have on your overall numbers.
Yep.
She was really focused on it because she's happens to be very focused at the moment on selling the business in a couple of years. So, the valuation issue came up as a really big issue, and I had to really get her to move on to focusing on how, this is an estimate, and this is going to help you sell your business for a much higher price in a couple years if we do these things. Let's find out how much.
Yep.
That was kind of where I went with it.
Yep, gotcha. So that looks, just for your benefit and everybody listening too. So this is a bit of a unique situation where you've actually got somebody who's, red hot to go on selling her business. This is why she got a little bit stuck on it. And very rare are you going to find somebody stuck on the, the valuation part of it. But I would say this, and I asked that question for a reason, because I want to, one of the things that's important, right? Pat, did you just go to the, the video that you created on compounding and the way that you come up with all the numbers?
Yeah.
You know what I
think that
mean?
was,
In the
Ask
training?
the Expert call.
No. I just mean the short, all the Q&A videos.
Oh, I see. Okay.
The
So
short videos. Yeah.
That's in the software.
Yep. So Linda,
let me
just as Pat's finding that, I just want to, so what I, in that situation, if I felt like I lost a little bit of control, I got to start talking and I got to impress her a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And make her feel comfortable. Because I got to if you lost control, you got to bring it back. Real simple, right? So question is, how would I do that? I start talking about high level stuff that's going to impress her. That's what I do immediately, right?
Okay.
And an example of that would be where Pat's about to go, but he's created a short video that explains how, because if you look at the numbers, you're like, how do these numbers extrapolate and how do they get so big so quick, right? And it's not, it's not sleight of hand. It's like legit. It's just that it's a lot easier than most people make it, right? So an example that I would pull out is like, most people don't think in percentages. So when you have margins of 20% and then we increase them to 30, and then naked eye, that looks like a 10% improvement. And let's assume $100,000 profit, that would be $10,000, right? You go 20 to 30, that's 10. And if it was 100 grand, that would be 10 grand, right? Well, that's not what happened, right? When you go from 20 to 30, guess what it is? That's a 50% improvement. That would be an example of a place that I would go to try, because 95% of the people you will speak with, and just hope that it's her, that will, I don't know, trick is the right word, but they will be like, yeah, 20 to 30 is 10%. And then when you explain that it's actually 50%, which means $50,000 instead of 10,000, they're like, oh, wow, you just pulled back a little bit of control. And then also, and again, and I'm reading body language, and if I'm on the phone, I'm listening to, their tonality and how quickly they answer back, et cetera, to see, like, did I bring back the power, right? And definitely the words that they use. And then also here, that video, thanks, Pat. So this power of compounding impacts, everybody should watch that, in my opinion, so that basically what Pat is doing there is explaining, I mean, it says it right there, but the compounding effect. And then if you go there again, she would be the 0.2% of the population that would all just automatically make sense to and need no explanation. So this would be another way where you could grab some control and, kind of bamboozle them a little bit, right? Does that help? Does that make you understand why I'm going over that? And that's where I would have gone if I felt like I was losing control.
Yeah, that does make sense. And it does kind of, I don't know, it takes them back to a point of things that they don't really understand.
Yes, that's what you're looking for. Well worded. Yeah. I'm looking to explain something that they don't understand. And believe me, they're not going to understand this compounding and the software is built on the compounding. So you're not talking about some fictitious, confusing the hell out of them. You're like, look, this is the way it actually works, right? And then that could be your segue to get out of valuation. Let's get into this thing and let's see how your numbers compound. And then let's see how that's going to impact the value. And then let me show you how that's going to impact the valuation. And then everything you're asking me now will then make sense. That's the way I'd steer my way out of it.
So would you take them to this video and show it?
No. I would watch this video 10 times and be able to explain it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Are these images anywhere, Pat, that you're showing?
Yeah, I think this whole thing is available on the Ask the Expert archive. Let me just go there. No results, no fee. Excuse me, I got barking dogs in the neighborhood. Let's never give up.
Ruff, ruff.
It's kind of around April or May of last year. And why this is not loading. Oh, well, that's this year. That's why. It's been reorganized. So I'd go into April or May. And I think there should be a spreadsheet you can download there. I actually like this video, what we did with this. And, someone had asked a week or two ago, what would I do if I had to stand on stage and give a presentation? And the more I think about it, the more I combine elements such as the everything is wrong video, the pie chart of business growth possibilities, and this whole compounding effects. There we go. The uniform impacts in the software. So that's May 27th.
27th. There you go.
And you can just watch the video on May 27th as well. But this should open up. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, I think just watch the video there and kind of see how I went through it. But it's a pretty powerful explanation and presentation, and some great examples in there as well. So we've got the profit growth calculator, the quick start version.
There we go. That's what we're looking for right there.
And we got that, and then we got this full assessment. A lot of things in there. What I like about it, if we could do this, we're going to increase foundations by 10%, and that's only 2.41% in each area. It's not 4 areas, it's not even 2.5%, because all the impacts compound against each other. We've explained that in the video, and then there's some actual ways how to do it. So a lot of great info in here. You can take these images, you can mess around with them, you can build your own PowerPoints, you can build your own presentations, you can create your own videos, all that stuff. All good stuff.
Awesome.
Good things to use there.
There we go. So Linda, when you just to back up and again, am I going to see this being used each time? Probably not, but maybe it's going to be your shtick, and then you're going to take what Pat just showed you. You guys could chuck that into a PowerPoint, or you could just display it exactly the way he just showed you. And again, you see how when you can you see the way Pat just talks over the top of it and he explains. You see, it's not really 2.41, right? Yeti, because it compounds, or 10% is not really 10%, right? It's like these numbers that compound. So it's so easy to get there. You're explaining it, and then you've got these spreadsheets to kind of back it up. No doubt you can see how you got total control over the person that you're sitting with, which is a really good thing when you want to try and convince them. So these images are good. Linda, what do you think? You like? Would that have helped?
Yeah, I think it might be good to, I might go get those images and kind of keep them in a resource file related to PAS.
Good idea.
But do understand, Linda, you came up against somebody with a hot button. She's looking to sell her business. She was thinking about that before you got into that meeting big time. And that's why it went in a little bit of a funny direction. So sometimes you got to take it on the chin and just, you live and learn. And next time you get in that situation, somebody's thinking about selling, you'll know that valuation is something they're going to get stuck on. And you can, if you lose control, grab it back real quick and say, oh, that's going to make sense once we go through the rest of the process. They go, okay.
Yeah, good. Okay.
Oh.
Yep.
Awesome. Yep. Okay, great questions. Anything else, Linda? That was good.
I think that's it for now.
Let me just add on this.
Put you back on mute. Yep.
Yeah, let me just add on here as well. You see in the spreadsheet, there's examples here in yellow that you can use. And if you can have these kind of in your back pocket, I just memorize them or just keep them, keep them in the back of your mind. If you can pull these things out, because people go, well, how does downsell work? I don't really get it. Or could I really grow my business through a downsell? So you kind of explain it. And then here you have this, let me just make it a lot bigger. If you have 100 people walk in your door every day, only 20 buy and 80 leave without buying anything, just offer those 80 an out the door special. If you convince just one of them to buy something, you've grown your business by as much as 5%. That's only 1 out of 80. So you've gone from 20 buyers to 21 buyers, 5% growth. I mean, if you have a great out the door special, you're going to get a lot more than 1 out of 80, or else it's just not a great not a great offer. So having those kind of things in place, these things in yellow, they're super easy to remember, super easy to pull out. I would have these in your back pocket all day long just to explain this. But another thing about this kind of presentation, graphics aren't pretty. It'd be actually a good idea, Carl, to make this just a really super
make it sexy
presentation. I think. Maybe get Pram going on that. But yeah, you can take the information in this different spreadsheets and you probably create a 1 hour presentation around it. And you would stand in front of CEOs of million and multi-million dollar companies, and they would all be impressed because no one's teaching this stuff. And it makes so much sense. And I bet they're not even thinking about it, most of them. So I would be very comfortable standing on a stage in front of million, 10 million, $100 million business owners, CEOs, and presenting this. I'd be very, very comfortable doing this because this is really good stuff. It's just not, it's not like soft skills, leadership skills, social media stuff. It's just really good strategic thinking. And that's what they like.
Yep.
My 2 cents.
I agree wholeheartedly. That is, like, it's math, right? Like, so many folks, like, it's internet marketing and it's this and it's that and it's sexy and delusional and Facebook ads. And then you can go, yeah, look, and all that stuff is good. But if you really want to become profitable, this is the stuff you need to know. You start spitting out math, like Tom was saying earlier, the math component from business, just when I'm talking about, accounting and finance and just not really, it's not so much even about accounting and finance. It's about just which numbers do you actually look at, because there's a million numbers you can measure in a number, measure or look at or calculate in a business, but there's ones that stand out like nothing else that they're just looking over the top of, and it's nuts, right? So anyways, yes, I love it. I love it. So I think everybody should go watch that video though. Where do they find that video again, Pat? Just make sure everybody knows so we don't get that question.
Yeah, that's Ask the Expert. So noresults-nofee.com/ask the expert. Well, now it's -2020. It's on the 2020 list and it is May 27th.
Yeah. And then also,
and then this one here. Okay. So noresults-nofee.com/software. And it's down the power of compounding impacts. I think also you can find it. We go in here under our Coaches Resource Center, and there should be Ask the Expert call recordings. That's where it was. So you can access it from here as well. So,
boom, there we go.
And there should be software training in here. Click the training link. Oh, there we go.
Yep, there we go. Oh, there we go. Boom.
Training in your software.
Training link. There we go. Awesome. Okay, cool. Let's get that next question. Una's got a question for us. Una, you are self-muted. There she is. Una, you're live.
Hello. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Okay, so what was my question on again? I put it in the thing, didn't I?
Implementation.
Implementation section.
Yep.
I was doing using the software today, and when I went to the implementation section, is there a limit to how many things you can have in it? So, because it looks like will it scroll across and scroll down and things?
Oh yeah. So I'll use this one as an example. We actually broke the software with this new upgrade, and I'll explain that in a minute. But Carl, you know, hear about that.
Okay.
But anyway, it's going to scroll all the way down, and now with the new area, you can.
Oh, boom.
We go across to
Just
93,
live?
98 weeks. Yeah, it's live.
Oh
You
my
haven't seen
goodness.
this?
There we go. No, I haven't.
Oh, wow.
I saw
Okay.
your email.
Okay.
No.
No,
There we
this
go.
has been live for at least a week, and very cool. Yeah, I had William freeze the left-hand column. So then, let me just go back then. As a precursor to that, you want to enter the number of weeks for each of these, how long it's going to take. You enter your start date. You'll add an initial planning meeting. I'm recommending two initial planning meetings. One to do a deep dive or a Jumpstart 40. The second one to go over the results. I would do that. I'd definitely add quarterly reviews. So you're going to go in here, you're going to say compelling offer is going to take 8 weeks, 2 months, whatever. Maybe increase prices. You want to do some testing and it's going to take you, maybe you're a bigger company, you've got to test it thoroughly, so 12 weeks. So you're going to save that, you prioritize, and you go to implementation calendar. And so now we are at a grand total of 107 weeks across.
Right.
So what happened though, this was a mistake, and I'll just kind of share what happened. We had this digital jumpstart, and in the digital jumpstart, we have this 2-page report.
Uh-huh.
And in the report on page 2, it gives you this spreadsheet.
Oh,
Problem.
right.
And so now this will scroll in here, but what happens when you're 107 weeks long? You can't just keep scrolling over several pages. I mean,
No.
you can in the report. So Carl, what I had William do, and he just came out with this yesterday, this report now divides it into, so here we might take the first several weeks
Uh-huh.
and put it on one level, and then we just do another level of what's going to happen in second quarter. So we divide it into quarters now. So it just kind of flows nicely on a 2-page report. So that's
I
what
love
we're
the
trying to
idea of doing quarters because I do 90-day plans with people.
Okay, good. Perfect.
So is that only in the digital one?
That part there only goes in the digital, yes, in that snapshot. But what you can do, this is what I would recommend, if you want to put it in a report, I would do I'm on a PC, so it's a Windows Shift S.
Kind of screenshot
Allows me
it.
to highlight, and I would do by quarter. So I do like that, I grab that. You can see my mouse doing that there. Can you see my mouse doing that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'd do that, the first one, and then I'd scroll over and I'd do another one with, let's say, after the quarterly review. So you're going to do another one, and maybe it's a very imperfect system, but I then take this all the way over to quarterly review. So they know they're ending with a quarterly review each time, and they know what's ahead of them.
Yeah.
So other things we're working on, which is kind of cool, I'd like to maybe just share it with you quick. All of these answers, we've got answers at the back of the book here. So you can click on, these and you get what are the steps, but we don't have anything for quarterly review. So what I've been working on last week, a little bit yesterday is, what I've noticed that you have quarterly reviews, or they call them QBRs as well, quarterly business review, and it's often in the form of a PowerPoint or a presentation. And so what we're doing is we're creating a PowerPoint template. So you'll be able to just click on this quarterly review link. You pull up the template, you take some time, you adjust it to your specific client's circumstances, and then at least you've got something to go with, and you're not trying to think, how do I come up with a quarterly review, and what do I do, and what's the most effective, and how do I say it, and all that. So we are taking some time and putting some thoughts around that to give you the best quarterly review that not only goes through like what's accomplished and the highlights and what you're looking forward to, but also something that builds the relationship with your client and ensures they sign on with you and they continue forward with you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, great.
I love it. There we go.
That's
Good
it.
job, Pat. Very
I
cool,
did
bud.
have some glitches in that section today.
You did.
Yeah, I took a screenshot. It was I can I'll email it over when I got a minute. I'm just trying to do a presentation for tomorrow morning for a talk I'm doing. But the yeah, it kind of had mixed up a couple of the weeks and the bits on the left, the actual implementation bits. So
Okay, I can address
yeah,
something
I
right
kind
here.
of came out, went back into it. I kind of did that a couple of times, and then it righted itself.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, let me know what that is. You know, it will split up a module like we have market dominating position 3 weeks, and then we have another 4 weeks. But what happens, the reason we do that is because if we're doing a quarterly review, that happens every 12 weeks. So
Yes.
it's going to split it up.
Now, I've got a question for you. So if I do it, I do the quarterly reviews by the 4 quarters of the year
Okay.
rather than 12 weeks from the start date, so to speak.
Yeah.
So, because so, you know, because we'll kind of go, okay, well, let's get this done in the remainder of this quarter, and then we'll do the full quarterly plan next time.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah. So is there a way to have the quarterly review be on the quarter?
No, not right now. I mean, you could build out your own Gantt chart then in Excel to do it that way. But I don't think there is.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe.
Or is there a way that we could export this one into Excel or into a CSV file or something?
It's possible, yeah. I guess it's
Maybe
possible
that's
to
it. And then
download
that
this
way we
too.
can, yeah, that way
Yeah.
we can put it whichever way we want.
Yeah, I'm just gonna write a note on that. That would be probably the easiest thing.
Yeah.
So and then you'd have the starting point at least.
Exactly. Yeah. Because then we could put dates on it and things like that. Because like, yeah, the week numbers is great for here. I understand why you have it like that, but
Yeah.
to kind of give it to clients, particularly because a lot of my clients are quite creative. All right, you hover over and it shows. That's good.
Yeah, it'll show a date there.
Yeah, okay, that's good to know. I didn't know it did that. But yeah, I mean, I know if someone gave me a sheet that just had week numbers on it, I wouldn't be able to compute properly when it was. I'd need to see
Sure.
dates.
That's
So
fine.
yeah, so we could export that as a CSV file, then we can format it whatever way we want and not bug you about it.
Yeah, no, it's good. I think I'll ask William about that. And like right now, he's working on a upgrade to this already for phase 2. So
Yeah.
I think we'll just have him add that as part of his upgrade.
Awesome.
Cool.
Great
Love
stuff.
it.
Sounds good.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
Well, there
Good
we
idea.
go. Una, well done. High five there, Una. Appreciate you, buddy. I'm going to put you back on mute. All right. Well, Pat, there we go, buddy. That was good. I hope that was helpful for everybody. Any final words here? We've got a few more questions here, guys. We apologize, but if you could do us a favor, bring your questions on Thursday for us. That would be appreciated. Pat, any closing words here for our crew?
Yeah, I mean, they can also just as a review it, we do it every time people ask, but go in the software and go under support and just ask the questions in here. Technical, it goes to William. If it's non-technical, it should come to me. You could do it that way, or just go to PAS or email PAS at results-notepd.com. It'll come to William first, and if it's appropriate, he'll send it on to me.
Cool. Sounds good. Okay. Well, appreciate you, Pat. Appreciate everybody coming here, playing full out. Always great to get great questions and not to mention some great feedback. But look forward to seeing you guys again on Thursday.